Good morning, good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? Happy Friday. It's Friday. What's up, Brofit? How are you doing? How's that coffee treating you? What's going on, buddy? Caitlin, good morning. How are you? How was school? How are you doing? How are you getting along? Finding it fun and interesting? What are we learning this summer? Dr. Feelgood, good morning, bud. How you doing? What's up, David? Good morning, good morning. And Viva La Leslie, good morning to you. I know it's Friday, right? It's Friday. I'm here at work. We're gonna do a little check-in. Um, long, long week, lots going on. One job. Um, we're a seven. Is that on a scale of 1 to 10? We're doing 7 here. Yeah, we do 1 to 10 here. So everybody drop their ones to tens. We do pluses. So if you want to be in the 9 plus club, we'll get you there. How am I at right now? I'm feeling good. I know I'm gonna have a quick short day, not too busy. I got two things that I've been really putting off, going into pay some school fees for a project and then going into City Hall to pay for a water and sewer permit. Um, a little embarrassing. City Hall, I kind of had a blowout with some of the employees there, so I'm a little ashamed to step foot in the building. Just, I was having a real rough week and kind of unloaded on some people, so that I have not circled back with this one person in particular. So that's something I've been putting off, even though I've had the check in hand for I think a little over a week. I think I got it right before I left for town. So hasn't been too many days. Yesterday they were closed. I went to pay the school fees. Dom sewer blowout. Yep, that's all you heard, right? That mind of yours. David, that mind of yours is amazing. Got home late from the hospital. Oh, how's your dad doing? I did see that. I didn't double click. I was in other stuff, but I hope he's doing okay. Hope it wasn't nothing too bad or serious. I should have reached out to your brother too. Good morning, Ron. Ron's here, everybody. We can start the show. What's up, buddy? Uh, got to see Ron last night doing some what are we calling this? VFAM Sessions League, taking down, holding down his team, anchor style. So congrats, Ron. Good job. Way to crush it. We expect nothing different from you, sir. You are the man. So yeah, going home early today. Get to see the wife and kids for the weekend. We have, like I said yesterday, all we have is like a party for my daughter's 16 friend who's turning 16. Yeah, he's home. I made a video last night, kind of explaining things, but he's better now. He's excited to eat ice cream for food. What a great, like sometimes going to the hospital is a win, That's the bright side, right? You got to look at the small wins. We're all glad he's better now and he's home and he gets to eat all the ice cream for all of us who can't, shouldn't, or don't eat ice cream. Uh, they probably don't remember City Hall is crazy. Yeah, true. I mean, I really yelled at her though, dude. Oh, oh, man, I feel bad, but at the same time, like I've been working with this lady for a really long time, and her performance has always bothered me. Uh, and this was not this was not a job that I felt like being bothered on. So right on. Okay, I'll try that. I'll change my shirt. Definitely into my extreme for me. Yeah, maybe I should bring her ice cream, I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about writing letters, writing emails, sending flowers, doing all this stuff. Uh, but like I said, there's a strong part of me that like needed to get that out and felt it was warranted. And even when I talked to like her boss, And I went into it, I'm like, look, man, like I'm not this guy. Like, there are character references that this doesn't happen, that this isn't me. Like, I don't yell at my subcontractors or my trades. Like, I'm not that guy. But when people get me to that point, and we're talking like years and years of dropped balls and non-responsive emails and poor communication. And yes, it's City Hall. Like we all kind of expect it to some degree, but I just keep sending emails and they're very detailed. And yeah, it just pushed me a little bit. So he and I had a good conversation, and he and I have had a couple of good conversations since then. He's really responsive. I would love it if they had a more um, I don't know what you call it, but I kind of get the feeling like talking through the V Friends crew, like a top down kind of system where like the boss Gary and Andy, but Gary in this instance is so responsive, so quick to communicate, so quick to like do one-on-one even though he's the top dog. And I think a lot of his team, a lot of his team models after his leadership, and I just don't see that in this particular city, which not every business is the same, not every person is the same, not every leader is the same, so obviously. But anyways, enough of that tangent. Enough about me. How's everybody else doing? What's going on? I'm here alone. Hey, look at that. I'm here alone, and then I get this ding noise in my ear, and someone might be joining us. Let's go. Even if you feel justified, you could still apologize for your reaction. Yeah, I know. That's the thing. Apologizing for the reaction. Never know. They may have found a new job. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Dylan. Appreciate you uh cracking me up, man. What's up? What's up? What's up? All right, we are going to get into our reading today. Outdoors, Jason.
Good morning, Dom.
What's going
Um,
on?
I was letting you cook for a second
Right
about
on.
on your story there. Uh, Quick summarization. You had to fire somebody. Is that what I am
No, no,
gathering?
no, 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 no. I just
Okay,
yelled at
never
someone a
mind. I
couple
don't want to
weeks
mess it up.
ago.
You don't have to rehash it, so don't
It's all
worry
right.
about it.
What are you doing? What are you up to? Is this your front porch or are you somewhere else today?
I'm in the front. We have a visitor sleeping down close to
Mm,
my basement space, so I don't want to wake him
gotcha.
up. Um, we had a we got to go to a wedding. Went to a
Wedding.
wedding last night.
How was it?
It was great. It was small. It was cute. It was very meaningful.
Nice.
Uh, yeah, David got a lot of green today. Um,
Are
I
those
did
words
just
you would
wake up.
use to describe the couple? Like,
Say it
is that
again.
how small, cute, and meaningful? Is that what, did they do the wedding the way you thought they would do the wedding, or like
Um,
something that was like totally them versus like the standard big blown out party?
I would say so. My friend, uh, I mean, friends with both of them. My friend who got married, I would say if this happened like earlier, like maybe 10 years ago, it probably would have been a lot crazier.
Hmm.
I think he's a lot more focused now. Definitely, definitely focused on like the most important stuff.
Yeah.
His parents. I've known this guy like 15 years, and like I finally met all of his family, which is really really great. Um, the thing that I was really impressed with actually was their vows. They had really good vows,
Oh, nice.
um, which which I can't say for all weddings. I mean, I liked my vows. I thought they were great, but like the thought that came to my head is if we were to do like me and Kristen do like a renewal of vows, what would that even look like? And what would it look like compared to
Yes.
my 32-year-old vows? Um, so I think I'm going to revisit that. I just want to read it. I want to see what I wrote 10 years ago. I'm sure it still means. I'm sure it's still meaningful. Um,
I couldn't. I probably couldn't even tell you one line of mine, unfortunately. It's been forever. Uh, we got married very early, Amy and I, and it was like the opposite of what David's like. It was not perfect whatsoever. Like we had one of those weddings where, one wrong move after one issue after another, but it's still a great time. Like I still think back on it very fondly. But as far as the vows, like we didn't write our own. Well, we kind of like assembled them a little bit from some vows we found, either through the company or online. I can't really remember them, so they weren't as deep and as personal as like truly writing your vows. Um, and then we had a last one of the biggest problems that happened to us was we had a last minute change in officiant, and the guy who did it had the strongest, like, Hispanic or Southern American accent, and we could not understand him. The DJ couldn't get the microphone and speakers to work, so no one in the wedding could actually hear the vows. It was just me and Amy, and again, barely understanding them, even though we had them memorized, like all that stuff. Like it was kind of a crap show.
Yeah. Ours went well. It was really fun. We did a beach one, and as I was sitting there, I was like thinking of all the weddings we went to, and it was me and Kristen and one of our other good friends, and we were going through like best worst weddings that we've been to,
Hmm.
um, and like thinking about all like the early weddings that we went to, like in the early 20s of people that got married, and like just kind of like we've been to like VFW weddings, we've been to like really expensive weddings, um, talked about weddings that like didn't last and like the ones that maybe were foreseen not to last.
Hmm.
Uh, it was good. It was actually like a really great reflection point on I guess maybe why people get married. Um,
Yeah.
and like the vows specifically, I can't remember what I wrote. They were probably, I'm sure some of them were like based on like vows that I heard. Uh, didn't have Chat GPT back then to clean it up for
Ooh,
us.
man, right? Here's what I want to say to my wife. Now make it sound poetic, wedding vows.
But do it in my
Make
voice
make
based
people
on our
cry.
previous conversations.
Give some inside jokes and humor.
Yeah.
Dang, what a hack.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Back in the day, we had to write our own vows. They probably did last night. They were just like, it was like very, it was very personal. It was very them. Um,
Yeah. Good. Glad you
so
guys have a
yeah,
good time.
good times. And then uh, the drive was, it was a dry wedding, which at this point I don't mind.
Yeah.
I went to like a dry wedding like when I was 25. That was
A
that was
little
kind of,
harder to accept.
say it again.
A little harder to accept.
Yeah, but this one was, yeah, it was like yeah, I'm okay with like not losing 3 days to a hangover.
Yeah.
But we also had to drive home down a canyon, and it was really windy, and my my butt was at full pucker most of the time driving back in the dark.
Much better than having a couple of drinks and doing the same drive. Yes.
Yeah.
100%. All right, look, we got some other beach weddings in here. Let's go. Everybody gets married on the beach. I got married on a yacht in a harbor. So that was a lot of fun.
Did you get to like did the yacht like go out?
No, no, no. It just cruised around in the harbor. Like it was very cool. It's very interesting, very different. Yeah, it was a big guy. It's like 4 stories, like 100 something people. It was pretty massive. But yeah, like I said, a lot of stuff went on. Um, no wedding crashers because the guests got on and then we we set sail. So it would be hard to crash that wedding. Nope, did not smash a champagne bottle on the boat. Nope, nope, nope. Didn't do that kind of stuff.
Oh, it was also a Jewish wedding that we were at.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
it, my friend is Jewish. His wife is Christian, so that was cool to kind of like we did like Hava Nagila, I finally got to cross off my list hoisting the groom up on the chair.
Okay, sweet.
So
I haven't been to one of those. Like I've seen enough in movies and stuff like that, but uh haven't had that experience yet. So that's cool.
yeah. So I think my wedding checklist is complete.
Other than like the most important one that will come one day in the next, we'll call it 10 to 20 years, the
Well,
walking your
yeah,
daughter
that
down
was
the
our
aisle.
yeah. Like we were talking with some people how like it was cool to like go to an adult wedding as adults
Yeah.
because like we were thinking that like the next weddings that we're probably going to be at are now going to start being the kids of friends and family who are now getting
Yeah.
married.
Your children, etc.
Yeah, no, I mean not too soon.
No,
Hopefully that's
I said 10 to 20 years.
yeah,
30, I don't know, right?
yeah,
You got a
something like
16-year-old, so 26 is possible.
12-year-old. I have a 12-year-old.
Yeah. I have a 16-year-old.
You
That's right.
you do. You're right. Yeah. So you might have a wedding coming up for sure.
So excited for that stuff.
Uh,
Uh, because I'm gonna find the joy in it and I'm gonna have fun,
yeah.
right?
Wondering what all this is gonna how all this stuff we've been doing is gonna play into that for sure. So, yeah. Um, you were about to break into the reading. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, access the child in you is what the title of today's reading is. It is basically, all about in finding a way to enjoy that maybe hidden part of you, that we all have to kind of hide and suppress as we enter into adulthood and start to take on all the responsibilities of, living alone, finding shelter, finding jobs, finding a partner, etc. And then one day you have a kid and you're able to like let that little part of you, if again, if it was hidden and dormant and what have you, let it come out a little bit and get on the floor and play with Legos, play with old toys. I think we've all talked about like, I've tried to, especially with Netflix and Disney Plus, like bringing back like old TV shows and streaming them. Like the old Saturday morning cartoons of like Spider-Man and X-Men were like my life when I was a kid. So, when those posted up on platform, I was so excited to show my kids. I think the other day I talked about buying that little Nintendo. I was so excited to play Super Mario Brothers 1 through 3 or whatever with my kids. And yeah, just getting to enjoy that. Watching that takes me back too. Home Improvement.
Yeah,
Yep.
catching new episodes.
So great.
Um, David, this is a great question here. Here's where my thoughts are very in line with what David just said here. I'm not necessarily focusing on like the specific things that I do with my kids. Like, um, we do get a lot of chances to do that to kind of find the joy in the kid stuff. I'm more thinking about when I'm in like adult mode and I have to put that aside and jump in with my kids, whether it's by choice or whether it's being asked. And the first thing I think about is like, are there any times where I have, or I can't do that, or um, I got, so I feel like I'm pretty good at like shelving whatever I have to do if I'm ever asked to like participate in whatever the girls are doing.
Hmm.
My 6-year-old still asks to play with me, and I will definitely jump in. Doesn't matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Um, there's a few times when I say like I can't do it today, or we can't do that right now, and even though that's like a very like I'll usually say like yes we can do this in a little bit. It's like I never want those moments to pass, right? Because every
Hmm.
time they ask you to interact with them or play with them or hang out with them, it's like if you get if I get really crazy about it, it's like, oh, I missed that like that 5 minutes when it's like pure them asking me where they don't have to like kind of wait for me to finish what I'm doing and then change modes.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that question. Uh, so like I think a little bit of about this weekend that just happened. I think my kids got to see me access some adult joy. Um, the two different days. So the one day was exploring and hiking through the creek or the river or whatever you want to call it at Slide Rock. So instead of just doing like the slide stuff and the jump stuff, I took a bunch of the kids two different times, just like way deep, like going upstream and just crossing the stream, kind of doing a little like light rock climbing and doing all that stuff. That's like stuff that I grew up doing and loving. Like every time we would go camping or my grandmother at one point had a property in Arkansas and she had a creek that ran through her property. So I would go and explore that every time I was out there. And then the other thing was the ATV riding. Like I think my kids saw an extreme amount of joy coming out of my face as I'm like fishtailing corners and crawling up rocks and blasting music like at the top of my what was I saying? At full blast. Getting the watch indicator like every 5 seconds saying you're in a loud noise environment. You shouldn't be in this environment for more than 30 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it for 4 hours. See what happens. So yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. Yeah,
I am
Arkansas.
interested. I am kind of interested in Caitlin's
Oh,
comment
sorry.
here. Oh boy,
Let's just keep
click
doing it.
click battle.
I just wanted to do it that last time too. Um, yeah, feel free to explain.
Yeah, how your religion plays into joy and happiness. That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, but yes, Arkansas. She actually had like a little mini farm in Arizona, and then she moved her mini farm out to Arkansas and was out there for a couple years, and then she moved back to Arizona. But yeah, I grew up with my grandmother having a farm, so with horses, goats. I don't think she had pigs. She had peacocks. That was very interesting. Um, some skunks, and then definitely a lot of cats and dogs.
One thing that I remember from my childhood is my grandfather. This is the first time that I noticed age in my grandparents.
Hmm.
It was like one of the few times that like my grandfather got down on his hands and knees. And as a kid, when you're on your hands and knees, it's like you can you can still like
Do
crawl
anything.
around on your flat palms without much pain. And
Yeah.
like he was like crawling around on his fists, kind of like a gorilla. I was like, oh, that's weird. Um, and then now at 44, I totally get it because it really hurts
Yeah.
crawling around on your palms. Um, so like I now crawl around on my fists like an ape.
Yep. Yeah. I went through a period where one of my knees just gave out on me, or it would send this like crazy pain through my body if ever I got on my knee, like on that knee, and it switched knees actually. It was really weird. And the doctor just told me that eventually it was. He said you just need to stay off of it and rest. So then I went through a period of like a year and a half where I never put a knee down on the floor. Like I would just squat, or I would just lay down, or I would just crawl, something like that. Like it was really strange, but it's gone away, and I'm able to go down on my knees and do anything that my kids need me to do as far as like the horse ride. Like Bentley loves me, jumping on my back and going up the stairs to bed every evening or so many evenings.
Yeah,
And yeah, even though he's 6 and he's getting up there in poundage, I think he's 55, 60 pounds, and going upstairs is not a joke. Uh, Gotta do it while you can, right?
yeah. I'm in the stage where I'm down on the ground and I get up and my head get lightheaded for a
Mm,
few moments.
yeah.
that's where I'm at. Got a little notification here from my friend Augustus.
Yeah,
Which,
I love the movie Grown Ups. That series, the Adam
hey,
Sandler
Augustus.
stuff. Adam Sandler stuff brings me joy, uh, for sure. Like grown adults being childlike, 100%.
Yeah. Um, I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Happiness temporary with things that can be physically taken away. Joy eternal. Jesus, others you. There's more to joy, but that's a short answer. Gotcha. Okay. That's kind of what I was thinking, right?
Yeah, temporary. Got to take advantage when they ask. There's nothing worse than well, yeah. There are a lot of worse things, but one of the sad things. There have been times when I've like asked my kids if they want to do something, and they're like,
Hmm.
"Nah, I kind of feel like being on my iPad." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, like it sometimes it doesn't feel fair that you're on their time, and like when they want to interact, you need to jump and whatever it is that you're doing, or ask for 5 minutes and then you'll get back to them. But you know that even then it's like, hey, 5 minutes have passed, or hey, oh, sorry, it took 10 minutes, and they're like, nah, I'm not interested anymore, or they don't want to do it, and you miss that opportunity, and you only get so many of those. We talked about that a bunch of times. So sometimes it doesn't seem fair, but at the end of the day, like, we chose this life. They didn't choose this life. And, we may not have known that going in, but the good thing for me about all this that's been happening with the group and the book is that, like, I didn't know that going in. I didn't realize that. So I missed a lot with my first kid. I know that now. And thanks to you guys and everything that we talk about, like, I have a much better, like, understanding and perspective on how I want, how I want to show up in those moments when they do ask, almost no matter what I'm doing, I try to say yes, you know, as much as I can.
yeah." I can't remember anything in recent memory where I had to not participate, and I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Um, the other night, Kristen was trying to wrap up an email for work, and it was pretty late. She's still like kind of 3 months into her new gig, and still kind of like building pipelines and whatnot. And she was in that stage where like she really couldn't shut that down because it was kind of time sensitive.
Hmm.
And as gently as I could, our middle was asking for some time with her, and as gently as I could, I was like, "Hey, Junie, you really need some time right now." And like I could see Kristen was frustrated with that, but she did get up
Yeah,
and do that. So sometimes it takes one of us to get the other on board for that short 5 minutes.
exactly. We all need our reminders. And like I said, part of my best and healthiest reminder has been here with all of you guys. So thank you. On that note, we wrap the show. It's Friday. I don't know how you feeling this weekend. You busy this weekend? I might be up for a tomorrow show. We'll see what my life brings me when I get home. Uh, but if not, 100%, I'll be here Monday, y'all.
Yeah, yeah. Tomorrow's 50-50 for me. Sunday, I will probably sleep in a bit. Tomorrow, we're doing our little ATV adventure.
Ooh, yeah.
So I'll send you guys some pictures like you sent to us.
Break the rules, dude. Don't listen to those
Oh,
fools.
I will definitely be doing fishtails.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Everybody, enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend if we don't see you. Hit the parents chat if we want to chat it up. If anyone wants to come on the show this weekend, like, I'll shoot. eh, Someone hit me up and say I want to join one of these things, and we'll make it happen. But yeah, love you guys. Go find some joy and happiness with your families. and well wishes to Papa Waffles as he eats ice cream for all of us.
Waffles. All right.
Later, buddy.
Have a great day, everyone. See you down.